Hello all and welcome to my Game Week 33 plans. Now I would show my results, but as of recording this, Sunday's fixtures haven't been played yet. By the time this uploads, they will have been played. And just for everyone's information, my team is without Cole Palmer and without Heung-min Son. That's why I've gone from 14k overall to 92k overall in the last few game weeks. So yeah, it's been real fun for me. Anyway, if you're watching this and Son and Palmer have blanked, you can imagine me jumping in the air screaming in happiness. If they've both hauled, on the other hand, you can imagine me curled up in a ball and crying. So let's hope it's the first one. Because as of right now, the team's looking pretty good. We've got the Pickford clean sheet, the double Arsenal clean sheet. Saliba yellow card is kind of annoying, but clean sheet's a clean sheet. We've got Bailey with the assist. I mean, normally 5 points is pretty shit, but for Bailey, I'm happy with it. So yeah, overall, it's going well. I'm hoping it continues that way. I might look like a muppet right now. Maybe Cole Palmer got another 18 points. I just don't know. At least you guys do. So I just like to remind you all of my chip strategy. Currently, my plan is to dead end my team into double game week 34, then wildcard in game week 35, then bench boost into game week 37. So all my transfers basically just need to be good for the next 2 game weeks. The player obviously needs to have a double in game week 34 as well, because I want to go into that game week with 11 double game week players, which will only be at the expense of 1 hit. Also, I've done pretty well with hits this year. As of now, I've only taken 5 hits all season. I feel like that's pretty low. Let me know how many hits you guys have taken this FPL season. So in my starting 11, there's only 3 players here who don't have a double game week in game week 34. Also, everyone on my bench also doesn't have a double in game week 34, but I don't plan on playing them this week. And there's no point in selling them because they're going to stay on my bench for game week 34 anyway. They're also the cheapest, so I get a lot less value out of selling them, if that makes sense. So we're just going to put them to one side. They don't really affect anything here. They're just chilling. Now, as you can see, it's Haaland and Foden playing against Luton. Let's be honest, guys. I am not selling these guys ahead of Luton at home. That would be the stupidest thing I could do. So that just leaves Anthony Gordon against Tottenham, right? And on paper, Tottenham is a pretty hard fixture. They're a good team. But Anthony Gordon has got, I think, 90% of his returns at home. I think he's only ever blanked in 1 home game. I could be capping right now. I'll put it on the screen whether I'm lying or whether I'm telling the truth. But I think he's pretty much returned nearly every single home game, which is making me very reluctant to sell him as well. Not to mention last week he got an assist, but it was disallowed by VAR. So yeah, these 3 players are very hard to sell in game week 33. Now you're looking at the team and you know you're right. There is a way to sell a defender on my bench to bring in a 4th defender that has a double in game week 34. But I really don't want to go heavy on the defense, because clean sheets have not been coming through this year, and there's really no good attacking defenders at the moment. I mean, Trent's out injured. Trippier is he injured or just bad? I don't even know at this point. The point is he's irrelevant because he's not getting points. So really the only value I'm getting out of defenders is clean sheets, and everybody but Arsenal is, unlikely to keep a clean sheet. I've got Pickford there for the save points, maybe a clean sheet against Forest, and Zabarnyi here, he's going to get like 4 points max, but a guaranteed 4 points is okay, I guess. Maybe he gets a lucky clean sheet. Who knows? At the end of the day, point fodder is point fodder. 4 points is technically a return. In fact, I've got Maguire on my bench playing at home to Sheffield United. I may even be tempted to play him over Zabarnyi. But with Man United's defence not being good and Zabarnyi having at least a guaranteed 4 points, if they concede a lot, maybe you'll get 2 or 3, which fingers crossed doesn't happen. So it's a lot safer to play Zabarnyi. But if I want to take that risk, I will be playing Maguire. So, looking at all the transfer options this week, it looks like the best thing for me may be to roll the transfer, which is okay, because I don't mind stacking up an extra transfer for next week. It's good in case any double game week players do get injured, and I won't need to take a -4 because I have 2 free transfers instead of just 1. We'll see how that one goes. Ultimately, looking at the midfielders I could bring in for Gordon, there's very limited options, and not many of them have a better fixture for game week 33 anyway. So let's plan this out. Let's look ahead. Let's imagine we're definitely not selling Haaland or Foden ahead of Luton. So Gordon is really the only one on the chopping block, the one who might be sold. Let's look at the potential midfield options I'd like to bring in for him. We've got 6.5 million in the bank to play with, and the options I'd be considering is Eze, who's playing away to Liverpool. In other words, I'm not considering Eze at all. And the only other 2 viable options is Sarabia, who only got a goal last week because of a penalty, and Brereton Diaz from Sheffield United. Now, I know it sounds silly to consider a Sheffield United player, and it is silly. He is definitely their best option, but let's be honest, guys, I can't imagine myself ever backing a Sheffield United player, especially when they're away to Brentford. I mean, Brentford at home is a pretty good team, let's be honest. They're hard to play against. Man City struggled. Man United struggled. Sheffield United are obviously going to struggle, you know what I mean? So Sarabia is the one I am closest to considering for next game week, but his form's not great either. I would much rather back Gordon at home to Tottenham yet again. Gordon is also first in expected points for game week 33 out of every 6.5 million or less midfielder that has a double in game week 34. The only midfielder at his price point that actually has expected more points is Cole Palmer. So in conclusion of evaluating these transfer options for a very quick second, the best move for me is probably to roll the transfer. Obviously, it's very early days. One of my team could get injured. We'll see how it goes. So what's wrong with this team? Obviously, it looks amazing. Loads of home games, loads of easy fixtures. The problem is there's no Son and there's no Palmer. Now, Palmer's really only been getting points from penalties and deflection goals. So even though he's got an easy game, it doesn't worry me a lot unless they somehow give away another penalty to Chelsea, which would just be absurd. I mean, I'm a United fan, right? And I know I'm biased, but those two penalties against Man United were never penalties. Anyway, let's move on. Look at Son. Son is actually worrying. He's a lethal player against a bad team, so he could really harm my rank, but I don't want to focus my transfers on Son or Palmer when they're not going to double in double game week 34. There is a little bit of a close call between Zabarnyi playing home to United and Maguire playing away to Bournemouth, and I realised I watch this team week in, week out, and I'm smart enough to know we are never going to keep a clean sheet ever again. And, you know, we don't even create that many good chances, so maybe Bournemouth could actually keep a clean sheet. I don't expect points from either of them, but I'm just going to play Zabarnyi. At least I'll get something out of the game if Man United somehow don't score. The double Arsenal defence, playing against Aston Villa, is actually not too bad. If they were away to Aston Villa, it would be a different story, but playing home to Aston Villa is all right. As you can see, I've put it as a grey fixture, but with Saka playing home to Aston Villa, that's a green fixture because the Aston Villa defence is not good away from home. In fact, it's awful on par with Sheffield United. That's why I've given Saka a green and the Arsenal defenders a grey fixture. Same again with Solanke and Zabarnyi. Solanke's got a green playing at home to United because we can't defend. And then Zabarnyi's got a grey because our attack is a little better than our defence. I'm not really thinking about captain yet because it's a very tough decision and I'm not really looking forward to make that decision. There's going to be some big swings one way or another. I just hope I'm on the right side of it. It will probably be one of Salah, Haaland or Foden though, to be honest. Let's be honest, they're the main three options. But even Saka's a pretty good idea. It just depends on Pep Roulette. It depends on the form of each of them. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed me discussing my plans for Game Week 33, mainly looking ahead to double Game Week 34 as well. If you liked it, please smash like, hit subscribe, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.